Well, Arsenal looks like they are trying to make Brighton or turn Brighton into their fishing pond. And every time they've gone ahead to get a hook and really threw into the pond of Brighton to fish out a player, they've not failed. They started off with a player known as Ben White in the summer of 2021. They brought him in. Now, in the January transfer window of 2023, they went out and really fished Trossard. And now they are going in for another big fish. Hugest fish into the starting 11 of Brighton known as Moises Caicedo. And obviously, having told you that he has rejected a bid, that Brighton have rejected an Arsenal bid of £60 million for Caicedo to join Arsenal, looks like the player is pushing hard and he is ready to put in a transfer request to go ahead and really join a club known as Arsenal. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share. And if you're totally watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel because we want to hit 12,000 subscribers. And I know we can't hit that number without you guys because it's you who really make us move. You are fuel, we are the car, but we can't move without fuel. You, the viewers, are the car. That's why we call in for that to happen always. So Arsenal is really more than serious onto this, and the player doesn't want to miss out on this golden opportunity to join Arsenal. So let's get into the story as we smash the like button to 500 likes. Now, you know Chris Whitley. He's a football correspondent and writer at the Nat World Hub. He was formerly that Arsenal correspondent, I think, for which Chris Whitley, was it for Goal? Was it for AFC? Was it for London? I think London something. But he's now working for the Night World Pub. He has really gone ahead to confirm to us that it is understood that Moises Caicedo would be keen on a move to Arsenal just weeks after his teammate Trossard arrived in North London, meaning that Mikel Arteta is going to use everything to see to it that he really gets Caicedo onto this team, because Caicedo never played a lot with Ben White, but he played a lot with Trossard, and he can use Trossard to really sweet talk the player to come in at the club known as Arsenal, because right now Arsenal need a central defense midfielder. The reason at the club is that Albert Sambi Lokonga wants out of the club. That story is going to come later after we do the Caicedo story. Then that means they're left with only two CDMs, Thomas Partey and El Nini. El Nini injured again. He injured himself around October, and we thought he was going to return in December. Surprisingly, he showed up in November and played some good games for Arsenal. Then he returned, and obviously, while they are training, he got an injury. And at the time of report, it was thought that the injury is going to be small, but right now, it has been confirmed to us that it's going to be a very huge injury that is going to see him out of action for so long. That has really put away the interest of his former coach, who is now at Aston Villa, known as Unai Emery, to signing him to Aston Villa. Remember, he was interested in signing him to Aston Villa, but as it stands, he has said, no way do I sign an injury-prone player. That is El Nini. That is calling in for Arsenal to go in and sign another player, and they are using Trossard to persuade this player to come in and join the team called Arsenal. So that is the first story we got from Chris Whitley. And guess what? We got a story from Sammy Makbal. You know him very well. He's one of the regulars that writes for Daily Mail, and told us that Moises Caicedo, desperate to force through a move to either Arsenal or Chelsea before next week's transfer deadline. Sportsmail understands Caicedo is prepared to submit a transfer request to secure his dream move to London. Now, when you are having a golden chance to go to either Chelsea or Arsenal, you just have to grab it. And how do you grab it? By forcing a move to leave this club. You get? Brighton know it very well that Arsenal has the money they want. That's it. But they have rejected this bid because they want more money. They are ready to play a season without Caicedo. That's it. They are ready to play a season without Caicedo. So, as it stands, I know the scouts of Brighton and De Zerbi, the manager of Brighton, are really outside there looking for replacement of this player. But the player wants out now. 21 years of age. If I told you you're going to go ahead and get a chance to play for Chelsea or Arsenal, that is a chance that comes once in a lifetime. Do you know why it comes once in a lifetime? You have to really look back and do a flashback of what has been happening for these clubs. For example, Arsenal, for 2 consecutive summers, have been going in for Yuri Tielemans. And Tielemans didn't push for a move to leave Leicester City. In 2020, Tielemans wanted to leave, but he never really put in a transfer request or never put there a situation that forced Leicester to sell. Like the one that Wesley Fofana put up for Leicester to sell him to Chelsea. That's it. I believe if Arsenal had £45 million and Leicester wanted 60, if at all the player told Leicester, I really want to go ahead and leave, he would have really left. But he never put out that urgency. Then in the next summer of 2022, Arsenal comes in for the player. The player never pushed for this to happen. So these teams like Arsenal, like managers Mikel Arteta, always want to see those players pushing for the move. That's why Mikel Arteta will always look outside there and mourn for not having gotten Mukalo Modric. That's it, because Modric was a player pushing and showing that I want to go to Arsenal. That's it. Those are players that Mikel Arteta wants, because he came out and told us in the press conference that we will always go in for players who want to come to our team. He said secondly, players know where they want to go. So Tielemans was seated there, and obviously he never showed interest of him to go on and play for a team called Arsenal. That's it. Look at Caicedo. Arsenal has been looking at him for very many, I think ever since the summer. You get, because before he came in through to play, it was Yefis Bissouma that was playing in that position very well and was signed for Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal was in for him but never went in for him. But Arsenal, just 6 months of monitoring him and really desperate to get him on the field of play, that is enough for him to really send a message outside there that I want out of this team. So he's desperate to join Arsenal and is going to put in a transfer request. That's it. So these are players that Mikel Arteta wants, because this player is willing to go all out and do everything to come out and play for the club called Arsenal. That is exactly what Mikel Arteta wants, and he's going to do all what it takes to fight tooth and nail to land that signing, because he knows this player knows what it means to play for Arsenal. Tielemans looks like never knew what it meant to play for Arsenal. They never went in for him. Look at Vlahovic. They went in for him in the January of 2022. He turned them down. He went to Juventus. They never returned. That's it. And they've done this on several players. There is another player, Houssem Aouar. He was all over the ladder of Arsenal for like 2 summers, but Houssem Aouar looked like, it's okay, you will come in for me. They said, all right, let's go for Martin Odegaard. But the position was there for him to really take over. That's it. So Arsenal goes in for players who really are desperate to come in and play for the club. That is it. So that's why Caicedo is pushing for this move desperately to join Arsenal. Then Brighton midfielder Moises Caicedo is ready to hand in a transfer request after the club rejected bids from Arsenal and Chelsea. Arsenal and Chelsea are both expected to come back with new offers before next Tuesday's deadline. That is at Team Talk. Team Talk does football transfer gossip, rumors, breaking news, stats, and obviously exclusive features and more. They're having close to 90,000 followers on Twitter. So they are confirming to us that Caicedo is planning to submit a transfer request to see himself out of the club called Brighton and however, because Chelsea have been wanting Enzo Fernandez. You know that very well, not so? They've been wanting Enzo Fernandez. Now, them wanting Enzo Fernandez sends you a message that they are in here for you. If you don't make it in the January transfer window to sign for their team, they'll have other options well spread for them to pick out. Caicedo doesn't want to miss out on this move. Arsenal are in a situation that one of their CDM is injured, one wants out, and they're only having one Thomas Partey fully fit. Do you think every scenario is going to be like that? No way. You get? Even Danilo found himself in a situation of joining Arsenal in the summer because Partey was injured and El Nini was injured. Sambi Lokonga was the only CDM left for Arsenal to play. They went in for Danilo. Danilo didn't push for the move and he stayed at Palmeiras, and right now he's playing for Nottingham. Arsenal never went back for him. For Douglas Luiz, Arsenal went in for him. He never pushed for a move and he went ahead to stay, put pen to paper for a new 4-year contract. Arsenal are not going back for him. So Caicedo knows this. He has read the entire situation, and obviously he doesn't want to see himself surprised and left there in shock. So he wants to do everything in his reach and effort to reach a side known as Arsenal, to see to it that he really plays for Arsenal and is willing to put in a transfer request. But as he's really trying to put in a transfer request, even Arsenal is not seated. They are really trying to see to it that they really get this deal done and dusted. Ryan Taylor Sport, he writes for the Daily Express. He has told us that it's fully expected Arsenal will go again with a new offer for Caicedo. Despite Brighton's insistency, he's not for sale, especially solid in the January window. It is the size of the next bid and players' actions that could carry weight. So, if Arsenal gets the £75 million bid that Brighton values in the player called Caicedo, that is really going to mark or really make weight or force Brighton to sell this player. If the player comes out and really says, I'm okay with staying at Brighton, I'll go out in the summer, then they won't sell him. Now, that's why the player is desperate and considering to put in a transfer request. That's it. So, a transfer request of Caicedo is expected, and Arsenal are really planning to make a much more better bid. The bid that was made by Chelsea was £55 million, rejected. Arsenal added £5 million more onto that. It got rejected. Then, where we are right now, it's all written everywhere that Arsenal is trying to make another bid. I think £70 million are really coming in through. That's it. So, I believe they are going to meet the bid of a team known as Brighton. And as the player is pushing, even Arsenal is pushing, the player is really going to make this happen because Arsenal really want to get this player. Then, even Mail Sport has confirmed to us that Arsenal are set to return with an improved offer of Moises Caicedo, and a bid of around £80 million may attempt Brighton into selling the midfielder. Arsenal are keen to sign new midfielder to ensure their title push isn't derailed. So, this is ridiculous. If £80 million are put on the table to sign Caicedo to Arsenal, I don't see Brighton turning down this money. Because the more they delay, the more they are really delaying themselves from really getting in a replacement of Caicedo. I believe you get £80 million, they know a player that's going to replace Caicedo because they've been scouting for these players, meaning that the Newcastle is not going to start the club next summer. That means they've already been keeping tabs on players. That's it. So they are going to go all out and get in players that are going to come out and really help them. Maybe they can even tell Arsenal that, can you get us Albert Sambi Lokonga on loan, like Chelsea did on Chicharella? They took Chicharella, and what they did was simple. They gave them a left back on loan. So they might find themselves getting Albert Sambi Lokonga on loan to play for a side known as Brighton. But Brighton are really good at scouting, and I know they're going to get in players as sharp as possible. Talking about Albert Sambi Lokonga, Steve Kay, one of the journalists that has been really so much on sport, has gone ahead to confirm to us that, I'm told Arsenal central midfielder Albert Sambi Lokonga feels that a move away from the club in January is something he would welcome. So that's what I told at the start of this video, that even Albert Sambi Lokonga is pushing to leave Arsenal. He wants out of Arsenal. So as things stand, Arsenal are really dying to bring in Caicedo because they know even Albert Sambi Lokonga is not happy at the club. And even if you're Albert Sambi Lokonga and you see to it that you are available and they're bringing in CDMs, that means the manager doesn't trust you enough. Obviously, I believe he needs more playing time and it's better to loan him. If you are Arsenal, you loan Albert Sambi Lokonga. That's it. After loaning him out, let him have a very good season and see how he's going to perform at Arsenal, because he's really tied on a long contract at Arsenal. Because Monaco came in through yesterday with a loan move to French League One side. They are willing to give Arsenal 80 million euros for the player. They said, no, we are not letting this player go. But it said if Arsenal manages to land the deal of the deal of Caicedo to the Emirates, they are going to go all out and allow a deal of this guy to come to materialization, to go out and play on loan for a side known as Monaco until the end of the season, such that he returns. And I believe he's going to hit the ground running there. Reason being, all Arsenal players in France are really doing great. Tavares doing great as a left back for Marseille. Florin Balogan scoring for fun, having close to 16 goals this season. So I believe that might be one of the destinations that is really going to yield positive results and success for a player called Albert Sambi Lokonga. And it looks like Edu is a disciple of loaning his Arsenal players to the French League One, because that's where magic has gone ahead to really be seen and shown to us in a very, very good way. Now, there is a story of a player who is just 20 years of age, Anthony Gordon, playing for a side called Everton. He has really gone ahead to really agree a deal to join a side known as Newcastle. It's a here we go, confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, and this is what he really had to go ahead and really put onto his Twitter account about a deal of this 20-year-old English player known as Anthony Gordon. Remember, these two have been pushing to leave Everton with Onana. He's telling us that is Fabrizio Romano, that Newcastle have reached an agreement to sign Anthony Gordon. Here we go, deal in place on £40 million fee. Everton accepted the proposal. Personal terms also agreed on long-term deal. He will complete medical tests in the next 24 to 48 hours, as called by Sky Sports says. That is Fabrizio Romano. Now, Anthony Gordon is one of the talented wide players that the England national team will ever see, because having played at Everton, and they sacked they sacked Frank Lampard. And remember, Frank Lampard was really in for this player. You get? Chelsea came in for this player. They were paying £50 million, and Everton wanted 60. So I think they've lost out to 50. I think they've lost out like £10 million. And because they are into a chaos of finance, they needed this money in, and they're going to get in and really give it to Sean Dyche. But where does this leave Maxman? St. Maximin at Newcastle. I read a story that Newcastle is really wanting to let Maxman go like 1.5 weeks back. I never accepted it. Has he fallen out with the manager? Is the manager believing that's not the right person to play for the club? Because Newcastle couldn't go in for a player known as Anthony Gordon, who plays wide left, when they're having Maxman. That means Maxman's days at Newcastle are numbered, and adding a player to Newcastle is really a message to Maxman that we don't want you here. And secondly, that confirms to you that Newcastle really want to fight for the Champions League place. If they get it, the better. But Anthony Gordon is in at a side known as Newcastle. New signing coming in through, and obviously Newcastle are really looking to offload St. Maximin. So guys, your reactions to Caicedo desperate to join Arsenal are welcome in the comment section below. What are your thoughts about Albert Sambi Lokonga wanting to leave Arsenal because new signings are really coming in through? And what do you think about Anthony Gordon's move to a side known as Newcastle? Would you allow St. Maximin to leave Newcastle and join any other club? Rokani David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later. Arsenal versus Man City up next live. Team news is out. Shocks have been really revealed in the starting 11 of Arsenal. I'm returning with that in the next minutes coming. I'm out.